Apple's app tracking transparency tool has landed the company in hot water with French regulators, resulting in a hefty €150 million fine. But what does this mean for smaller publishers and the future of app advertising? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to the Apple Daily News. This podcast is created by Generative AI. Today is April 1st, 2025, and we've got a packed lineup of stories covering everything from Apple's latest software updates to a sneak peek at a prototype Apple Watch. Let's dive in. France's competition authority has slapped Apple with a €150 million fine over its app tracking transparency (ATT) framework. The regulator claims that Apple's implementation of ATT unfairly disadvantages smaller publishers by requiring them to navigate a more complex consent process compared to Apple's own data collection. While Apple argues that the ATT tool is consistent and privacy-focused, critics say it distorts the market in favor of tech giants like Meta and Google. This ruling highlights the ongoing tension between privacy initiatives and competition law, and Apple may need to tweak its approach to comply with the decision. In related news, Apple has faced another antitrust penalty in Europe, this time for hindering rival music streaming services on its App Store. These fines underscore the growing scrutiny Apple faces over its business practices, particularly in the European market. While the financial impact on Apple is minimal, the reputational stakes are high as regulators continue to investigate. Jeff Johnson, a developer and Apple user, has raised concerns about the latest macOS 10.4 and iPadOS 18.4 updates. After updating, he encountered a confusing welcome screen that seemed to push automatic updates without clear user consent. Johnson describes this as a dark pattern, criticizing Apple for undermining user control. This issue raises ethical questions about how Apple designs its user interfaces and whether it respects user preferences. Speaking of macOS 15.4, the update introduces several new features, including a revamped Mail app with on-device categorization for better inbox management. It also expands language support for Apple Intelligence and adds new emojis, including a customizable Genmoji feature. For audiophiles, the update brings lossless audio support for AirPods Max. Alongside macOS, Apple has rolled out updates across its ecosystem, including iOS, iPadOS, and watchOS, marking a significant refresh for users. A prototype of the Apple Watch Series 10 has surfaced, showcasing unreleased health sensors that could revolutionize wearable health tech. The prototype features smaller heart rate and blood oxygen sensors, along with an intriguing extra light ring that hints at advanced monitoring capabilities. While these features didn't make it to the final version, the leak suggests Apple is actively exploring innovations like blood pressure and glucose monitoring. This aligns with Apple's broader focus on health technology, as seen in its ongoing projects. In a move that could shake up the semiconductor industry, former Apple chip engineer Kong Long has returned to China to join Fudan University. His expertise in wireless semiconductors will contribute to China's efforts to bolster its domestic chip-making capabilities. This trend of Chinese engineers returning home is part of a larger strategy to reduce reliance on foreign technology. With initiatives like integrated circuit schools at major universities, China is positioning itself as a future leader in semiconductor innovation. The relationship between Apple and developers has hit a rough patch in 2025. Developers are increasingly frustrated with the App Store's complex requirements, lack of clear documentation, and the constant threat of being Sherlocked. These challenges make Apple's ecosystem a high-risk environment for app creators, prompting some to explore alternatives, like web development. While Apple's platforms remain technically impressive, the business side has become a significant pain point for developers. Finally, Apple is reportedly working on a groundbreaking health initiative called Project Mulberry. This AI-driven health coach aims to provide personalized recommendations based on data collected from Apple devices. The project includes collaborations with physicians and video content from health experts, potentially branded as Health Plus. With features like food tracking and workout analysis via iPhone cameras, Project Mulberry could redefine digital health. This aligns with CEO Tim Cook's vision of making healthcare a cornerstone of Apple's innovation. That's all for today's episode of the Apple Daily News. We covered everything from Apple's antitrust challenges in Europe to exciting updates in health tech and software. Remember, links to all the stories we discussed can be found in the episode notes. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.